Welcome back to what is probably one of the final chapters of The Forgotten City. There's a girl who's been presumably abducted, and I think this is where we're going to find her in the end. We just got the key to the cisterns. That's what this is, the upper cisterns where water is stored. So we're just about to unlock it and see what we can find. That's a good sign. Let's, why don't we turn on the flashlight real quick. Oh, there she is. Oh, gosh. Are there zombies around? I don't see any. Hey. Sorry to put a flashlight in your face.
Who are you? Did he send you?
I'm Odysseus, and nobody sent me.
Do you know you're here? You have to help me escape before that monster comes back.
Who, Hannibal? Is that... my theory was that Hannibal was the one that enslaved her, or abducted her.
I'm Scintilla. I found a way out through the Gate of Horn, but it's locked. So I told him about it, and instead of helping me escape, he locked me up. He wants to keep us all here forever, or until we're turned to gold. He's a monster. You have to let me go so we can kill him and take his key.
Who is this?
Sentius, my adoptive father.
Oh.
Furies help me. I'll castrate and crucify him.
I did not... How is this not broken the golden rule? I did not suspect this at all.
He said the gods are on his side because they don't want us to escape either.
Okay. Where's the way out?
Behind me, there's an aqueduct tunnel bringing water from outside the city, so it should lead us outside. The only problem is it's barred by a heavy locked gate, and he has the only key.
And what will you do if I release you?
I'm going to take that key from around his neck, even if it means cutting his throat to get it. I'm done caring about the golden rule. I just want out. Help me, and we can escape together.
What about everyone else who's left here?
There won't be enough time. Just you and me. What do you say?
I'm letting you go. Let's get out of here together. What if I round everyone up so they're ready to escape once the golden rule is broken? Or... I'm sorry, but if I let you go, everyone else is going to die. Oh, what a tough choice. Because I don't want everybody to be trapped in here forever, because there's some good people in here, like, you know, Georgius and Virgil and Lucretia and, I mean, most of the people who we've met, even Dooley. What if I round up everyone ready to escape? I guess maybe taking the middle option, right?
There's no time. Wait, did you hear that? He's here. Quick.
Uh-oh.
You have to let me go. It's now or never.
Oh, gosh. I don't want... If I let you go, everyone else is gonna die. Oh, this is a terrible, terrible choice. Because I don't necessarily want to get out of here and leave everyone else behind. I hate this. I hate myself for doing this, but I'm gonna have to take the top option.
What? No. You can't just leave me here.
I'm not...
How can you be so hard?
I'm not gonna leave you here. I just... It's too dangerous. Let me see if I can persuade to let you go. Or not heartless, just rational. Our escape isn't worth the lives of everyone here. Yeah. Our escape isn't worth the lives of everyone here. That's my point.
I hate you. I spit on you. I hope Dis drags you to Tartarus.
I know. I feel awful about it. Ugh. Why? Why? Because I don't want this just to be a temporary solution is my thing. Like, I want everybody to be able to get out of here together and, like, live a better life. That's my... That's what I want to do, but... I'm so sorry. Let's take a look at our objectives. So... What... there's this golden rule. Tell the suspect who I suspect. I mean, it doesn't really matter who I tell him about at this point. I mean, everybody... I suspect Sentius, to be quite honest. I suspect him. Return all 4 plaques to the obelisk. I feel like that is what we need to do. I'm sorry, Sentius. I promise you that I'll be back. As soon as I confront Pluto and tell him to end this, then yeah, then you'll be out, presumably. So just hang on there for a little bit longer.
Salve.
Hey, Yulia. So where is the obelisk? I feel like I've missed it. Oh, it's up here. Oh, it's where he jumped off. Okay, I'm gonna save right here. And here we go, guys. I've got the 4 missing plaques. I don't know what's gonna happen. We've done everything that there is. All the leads have been accomplished. But... let's go. There's the Egyptian one. There's the Sumerian one. There's the Roman one. Alright, here we go. And there's the Greek one. Oh boy. Did we make the right decision? I feel like we're gonna need to persuade him of our virtue, maybe, or there's no turning back now. Speak his name, Pluto. Hades, Lord of Many, grant me an audience. Nergal, the Fierce One, grant me an audience. Osiris, Lord of Silence, grant me an audience. Pluto, Father of Riches. Well, let's start with the first one, and then go forward in time. So, Nergal. Then Osiris, Lord of Silence, grant me an audience. Hades, Lord of Many, grant me an audience. And then last but not least, Pluto, Father of Riches, grant me an audience. Well, so Pluto was the one that... oh, so it's going to be Hades next. Oh, cool. Because, look, the architecture has changed. So out here, it was Roman architecture. You see kind of like the reddish gold. And the columns here, it's Greek architecture. It kind of reminds us of like the Pantheon. Or, sorry, the Parthenon, rather, in Athens. And here it's Egyptian architecture. Look, you got the Anubis and the hieroglyphs. That's really cool. And then the last but not least is the, so this was Osiris that we're in. And last but not least is the Sumerian one that we're in now. Guys, I'm getting chills. There we go. I'm actually going to pause right here for a second and just say, so the developers in the main page when you first open this game say that I should warn you guys for spoilers before going any further when we get to this point. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious by this point. So if you want to play the game for yourself and you don't want to know the ending, then I would suggest maybe not watching this far. But if you don't care, if you would play anyway, or you just want to watch, then this is going to be the big reveal from here on out. So fair warning. Just wanted to put that out there. Alright, in we go. Wait, what? Are we like on a spaceship? What? Oh my gods. I mean, what? What have we gotten ourselves into? Look at this place. Oh my god. So did we get like abducted basically?
And here you are. Allow me to introduce myself. As you have already gathered, I've been known by many names. Nergal to the Sumerians.
Yep.
Osiris to the Egyptians, Hades to the Greeks, and Pluto to the Romans.
True.
But the one constant through it all has been my title, God of the Underworld. And I've been watching you with curiosity, mortal, ever since your arrival. You're unlike the others, aren't you? And what is more, you carry a weapon that was never intended for mortals to wield, and you do it so gracefully.
I mean, I kind of had to.
But there will be time for your reckoning later. First, as a reward for undoing the desecration of my obelisk, I will allow you to satisfy your curiosity. Ask what you will.
Thanks so much. Wow, we're gonna ask him all the questions we asked everybody else.
My story is many thousands of years long. You will need to be more specific. What do you wish to know?
Well, are you a god?
It is a matter of perspective. God is a label I was given by you mortals, not one I gave myself.
Okay.
Your ancestors revered me because to them, my knowledge and technology made me incomprehensibly powerful, just as you might seem so to an insect. But despite all
That makes sense.
there are rules even I must obey.
What rules do you like for your culture? Like your alien culture has rules about like the Prime Directive, like Star Trek. And look, his eyes are glowing like the statue's eyes glow when they shoot at us. That makes a lot of sense. Why do you look and sound like a man?
My kin and I all adopted this form long ago, so that we might better understand and communicate with your kind. In time, we grew fond of the sensory delights it affords. Desire, joy, ecstasy, even rage and sorrow, while an acquired taste can be addictive.
Okay. If I see your true form, is my head gonna explode?
No. Long ago, I swore to Persephone that I would remain in this form for as long as we remained among your kind. I must honor that.
Okay, fair enough. Who's the woman on your left?
This is my beloved. Like me, she has been known by many names.
What?
Ereshkigal to the Sumerians, Isis to the Egyptians, Persephone to the Greeks,
Oh.
and Proserpine to the Romans. Or perhaps you might know her as the goddess of springtime, the cycle of life and renewal.
Okay. Yeah, secret's safe with me.
Your gaze lingers too long.
Sorry. My bad. Who's that over there?
That is my servant. You would have met by the river, though she wears many faces and goes by many names.
Hi, Karen.
Kumutabal to the Sumerians, Kirti to the Egyptians, Charon to the Greeks, and Charon to the Romans. Her role is to ferry souls between the mortal world and this one, to make their transition as seamless as possible. For that, she earned herself the infamous, if erroneous, moniker, the Ferryman. You will talk more later. For now, ask your questions.
Okay. Fair enough.
As you wish.
Where are we? Spaceship? Clearly.
It has come to be known simply as the Underworld, and it exists because of a wager I made long ago.
Are we on the moon? What was the wager?
That is a long story, one that began over 3,000 years ago and continues to this day. You see, long ago my kin and I set out from our home on Elysium to search for other forms of life among the stars. We discovered your planet and witnessed your kind evolving from primates into something lawless and barbaric. You all but destroyed yourselves, your 2 short lives being extinguished by violence and ignorance and disease. Yet Proserpina saw raw potential in you, and persuaded the rest of us it would be squandered without our intervention and stewardship. So we revealed ourselves to your people in a place called Sumer. We offered guidance in agriculture, toolcraft, and law, and you called us gods. For a time you flourished, but soon you were too many for us to oversee. And as you spread from that cradle of civilization, we saw something disturbing. We had sown the seeds of dependency and confusion, and soon you returned to your old ways of violence and ignorance, this time in our name. My kin had seen enough, and gave up on your kind, condemning you as barbaric and chaotic, scarcely more than animals. We began preparations to return to Elysium, our home world, a utopia unspoilt by conflict and unimaginable in its beauty. But my Proserpina could not bear to abandon your kind without guidance, and knowing it would force the rest of us to leave her behind, she made an extraordinary sacrifice. She gave up her immortality to descend permanently to the ranks of humankind. And so she began her inescapable trajectory toward death. Horrified, I acted swiftly. I placed her in suspended animation in a deep frozen sleep to prevent age
That makes a lot of
and
sense.
sickness from claiming her.
Not,
And then I
yeah.
pleaded with Proserpina's father, who the Romans called Jupiter, to bring her with us to Elysium. It was and is my hope that once there, we might one day learn to undo what she has done to us.
I don't like this guy very
But he
much.
refused. I did everything I could to persuade him that he would not relent. He would rigidly uphold his final pronouncement. Humans were unworthy of ascension to Elysium, and no exceptions would be made.
Well,
But seeing that I was agreed,
you guys are
he
unworthy of being
proposed
on
a
Earth,
wager,
in my opinion.
the terms of which were as follows. If even one human city could prove itself capable of living without sin for a single year, then Proserpina and all of humanity would be permitted to join us in Elysium. My part would be to remain behind, the last of my kind, to watch over you without interfering, and to sit in silent judgment. And so my reward has been to languish here, enduring a 3,000-year winter, waiting for the day your kind proves itself worthy of her faith in you, so that I might take her with me to Elysium and unthaw my goddess of springtime. And here I
see.
am, after all this time, still waiting.
And so, basically, I'm assuming that the portal that lets us reset the timeline, that's Proserpina intervening and allowing us to, I guess, cheat a little bit and hopefully live without sin so that everybody can kind of get what they want. So who are you guys? Like, you're the full Olympus gods?
There were also gods who, like me, have been known by many names, but perhaps you knew them by their Roman names. Our leader, Jupiter, as well as Neptune, Saturn, Juno, Minerva, Mars, Venus, Apollo, Diana, Vulcan, Vesta, Ceres, and of course, my beloved Persephone.
Okay. And you guys are super advanced aliens who built this, right?
As the first wave of your kind arrived from Sumer, I had them build a city in their own fashion, so that they might be comfortable and recreate their lives here. I had them build the entrance as a vertical shaft leading to baths, to cleanse them of the sins of their former lives, and to prevent escape. I watched wave after wave of Sumerians arrive, and as their civilization declined over the centuries, they were replaced by Egyptians. Of course, believing themselves to be the superior civilization, the Egyptians promptly built over what had been built before, and made all the same mistakes. After another 1,000 years, the Greeks began to arrive, and then the Romans, and they all did the same thing. They built upon the underworlds of their predecessors, renamed their gods, and ensured their foundations were forgotten.
So, are they... I'm still trying to understand. Are they abducting the, like, certain members of the civilization to come up here and, well, yeah, how do you decide who comes here? I guess that's a good question. Are they actually dead, and you're keeping them alive through some technology, or is this like a biodome situation?
To ensure the wager was fair, it was important that my subjects were chosen at random. To this end, I had my servant distribute 1,000 tokens fashioned from silver, a rare element at the time, across all of Sumer. Whoever died while in possession of one of them would be located by my servant and ferried to this place, with no memory of how they arrived. As the tokens were discovered, they were traded, smelted, and fashioned into trinkets, and eventually coins, spreading to Egypt like seeds on the wind. Later, when they spread to Greece, they would come to be known as Charon's obol, or as coins for the ferryman. Some placed coins in the mouths of their dead, hoping they would awaken here, though they had no way of knowing which coins were fashioned from the original tokens.
Right, because they would just get mixed in.
In fact, almost all of the tokens are accounted for. Only 2 remain. And so after this wave destroys itself, as it is destined to do, your kind will have squandered the last of its potential to ascend beyond this rock. And Persephone is along
Well,
with it.
we'll see about that. How did humans learn about the underworld if you're so sneaky?
It is a regrettable story. One of the first men who came to this place was a king of Sumer, and a troublemaker. To be rid of him, I returned him to his people, on the condition that my servant erased his memories of this place. But the erasure did not take completely, and he told stories of this place as if describing
Is that the
memories
Epic
a
of Gilgamesh?
His tales were committed to writing, which came to be known as the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Yep, that's the one.
These words were twisted and distorted over generations.
Makes sense.
Later, the Egyptians would adapt Sumer's stories of the underworld, making them wildly intricate and labyrinthine. Their Book of the Dead and Book of Gates bore less and less resemblance to this place in their priests' pursuit of profit. Then, when the Greeks began to arrive, they proved far more cunning, and in a series of incidents that will not be repeated by the dead.
Their poets escaped?
A warrior named Heracles, 2 kings named
Oh, yeah.
Sisyphus and Theseus, a poet named Orpheus, and a Trojan named Aeneas. They each told embellished tales of this place, how to get here, and how to escape. And so from Sumer to Egypt, Greece to Rome, your kind has always told each other stories about this place, though each story contained only a seed of truth.
I understand. Wow. So where do we go from here?
Of course.
Are you responsible for the Golden Rule?
That is merely the name your people have given to it, but yes,
It's
it is mine.
Basically the wager. Why turn people into gold? That's like a terrible fate.
That is a story dating back to the very first wave. After the Sumerians finished building their city, the self-declared ruler threw a banquet to celebrate. Now this man was unmarried, and many women were vying to become his wife, a prestigious position of power and influence in a new world. Of all the women, two were particularly ambitious. Both were beautiful, and both arrived at the banquet wearing eye-catching dresses and painted faces, their hair woven in elaborate fashion. The first woman, recognizing that she would require an advantage to win the ruler's affection, draped herself in jewelry, ornate necklaces, bracelets, and rings fashioned from gold. Seeing this ostentatious display, the second woman grew envious, for she had no such jewelry at her disposal. She prayed aloud to any gods that would listen to cover her in gold. And when her prayer went unanswered, she took matters into her own hands.
Uh-oh.
While the others indulged at the banquet, the second woman summoned the first for a discussion in a quiet place. She checked that nobody was watching, and pushed her rival from the top of the ziggurat, where she broke her neck on the rocks below. But I was watching, and I decided to answer her prayer.
Literally covering her in
I
gold.
took the golden bow left behind by Diana, and I shot that woman in the heart, covering her from head to toe in a layer of molten gold. And I left her to stand there, that she might serve as a grim reminder of what befalls those who sin in my domain.
Yikes, that's rough.
That was not enough, for the entire city was tainted by her sin, and the wager could no longer be won. So I had no choice but to wipe the slate clean. I gilded them all, to make way for a new wave, and began the wager again. And to this day, each of them, and all who came after, line the halls of this city, inanimate but conscious.
Yeah, that's
suspended in time,
pretty horrifying.
Their sight and hearing preserved, so they may bear witness to and lament the folly of your kind for eternity, as silent golden sentinels.
Yeah, this is not a good guy, so you're responsible for destroying all these lives.
I give your kind a second chance at life, as well as ample warning about my law. And when you disobey, and you always disobey, you force my hand, bringing terrible suffering upon yourselves. And so you ask if I am the one destroying your lives. And I say, no, you destroy yourselves. I am merely the means by which you do it.
I mean, it's your choice to, like, take out everybody instead of just the ones that are, you know, worst against each other. And the golden bows came from Diana, right?
When my kin departed, they left behind many relics which I inherited. Consolation prize of sorts. The golden bow originally belonged to one of my kin, who the Romans called Diana. As my collection of golden statues grew, I chose the most ferocious among them, and equipped them each with a duplicate of her bow, and tasked them with hunting down the Forsaken at my behest. They became known simply as Furies.
So what exactly is your definition of a sin?
I've always considered that the cornerstone of morality is the ability to determine right from wrong on one's own. No attempt to lay out rules like your Code of Hammurabi or your 12 Tables of the Roman Republic can ever cover all possible scenarios. This should come as no surprise to you, since the core principle has been expressed in many forms by many of your civilizations. The Egyptians made a rudimentary attempt with do to the doer to make him do.
Yeah, we heard that
Greeks
before.
refined it with avoid doing what you would blame others for doing. The Roman Stoics added, treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Even the so-called cultists hiding among you often say,
Yeah.
do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Yeah, that's familiar.
It is the simplest of concepts, and each one of you is born with the faculties required to apply it to any situation. Yet none of the peoples who expressed this rule were able to uphold it. Curious, is it not?
The principle is not as easy to apply as it sounds. It doesn't seem like you've been upholding it either. I've always lived my life that way. Well, that's not true. Doesn't seem like you've been upholding it.
Enough. You clearly know nothing.
Okay, whatever. How do you know when people sin?
I'm able to commune with all the statues in the city.
Through your little glowy
Their
eyes.
ears are my ears, and their eyes are my eyes.
And Proserpina as well.
If she was still conscious, I suppose she could, but she's not. Why do you
Oh,
ask?
no reason. I'm not going to give away the game. No reason.
Then what an odd question.
Yeah, it was. I've seen some terrible things here that you didn't consider a sin. How could you let them happen? Yeah, like, well, the most, of course, like, memorable one is Scintilla.
Do you plan to speak in sweeping generalizations? Or are you going to give me an example?
Oh, I've got examples. Suicide.
I've seen no such thing, but in any case, taking one's own life is a self-directed act. It is not one that is done to others, however they may be affected by it. Therefore, it cannot be said that one who commits suicide has done anything unto others.
Okay. Seems like an extremely literal interpretation of the rule.
Applying this rule always requires us to interpret the meaning of the words. The literal interpretation helps to minimize the ambiguities of your primitive.
I had no idea when starting this game it would be full of, like, philosophy. A lot of tough questions. If our language is full of ambiguity, doesn't that make the rule inherently subjective and unreliable?
Supposing you're right, and my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want?
No. I'm right and you know it.
Now tell me, what other sins do you believe I have overlooked?
Well, price gouging for life-saving medicine.
The merchant. How is that inconsistent with the rule I've outlined?
Well, he wouldn't want someone else to demand an outrageous price for the medicine needed if he was dying.
I disagree. Having watched this merchant, that is precisely what he would expect from others, and he would be quite capable of paying the price anyway.
You can't know what he would expect, you're just speculating.
Applying this rule always requires speculation to some degree. It requires us to ask what another person would want if they found themselves in another situation.
Doesn't that make it inherently subjective?
Not if we're wise enough to know the mind of man.
Is anyone? And you think you know the minds of others?
Supposing you're right, and my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want?
Well... I don't know, I feel like, is this a trap? Like, I feel like we should say that we're right, because I think we are right. But... oh, what a tough choice. I guess no.
Now tell me, what other sins do you believe I have overlooked?
The debt bondage.
You speak of the moneylender. How is that inconsistent with the rule?
You wouldn't want to be trapped in a 30-year labor contract because of a
And he
loan.
would never have signed a contract pledging his labor for 30 years. All he did was enforce the terms of a contract signed voluntarily by others.
The whole concept of debt bondage, like slavery, is unethical. It's illegal under international law where I'm from.
Ignoring your irritating sense of moral superiority. This is interesting. I'm curious, how do people escape poverty where you live from?
It's customary to take out a loan to buy a house and in some places to pay for
I
education.
see. And how long might it take such a person to repay their debt?
Depends, typically decades, sometimes their entire
I
life.
fail to see how your system of loans is significantly different to a debt bondsman signing over his labor for 30 years.
Well, yeah, but you're not, I mean, you still have your freedom.
Supposing you're right, and my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want?
No.
Now tell me, what...
I just want to get, yeah, I don't know, experiments in the golden
Midwife of
statues.
The palace, yes. How is that inconsistent with the rule?
She wouldn't want to be experimented upon if she was gilded.
The rule is do unto others, meaning other people. Those statues are something else now. Bloodless shadows, mere shapes of their former selves. They are forsaken. What happens to them is no concern of mine.
And I disagree with your definition of others.
Now tell me, what other sins do you believe I have overlooked?
The abduction, for sure.
Abduction? You mean the magistrate imprisoning his daughter in the cistern, I take it. He did so because she sought to escape. A sin I take particularly seriously.
Why is that?
Better that he stops her from escaping, albeit brutishly, than I have to wipe out this entire city to punish her. Wouldn't you agree?
No.
Supposing you're right, and my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want?
No, it's not.
Now tell me, what others...
It's no wonder that people say gods are cruel. It just shows how unreliable and subjective your moral code is. You're no better at judging right from wrong than any human.
Do you honestly think you could do better?
No, but that's my point. Nobody's grasp of right and wrong is so perfect they could be trusted with all this power. You've become a tyrant.
I should strike you down for that.
And if you did, you'd be proving my point.
Now, did you have any other questions before your reckoning?
Oh, boy. Maybe.
Very well.
I guess that's it, so buckle up.
Good. And now it is time for your reckoning. Only, it seems, something is wrong. It has long been within my power to see to the hearts of mortals and weigh their deeds in life. But when I peer into you, I see only a blank slate, as if you did not exist until you appeared in this city. How is this possible?
Yeah, I don't understand it either.
Where did you find this one?
I do not remember ferrying you. How did you come here?
I'm from the future. Maybe you're getting forgetful in your old age. Does it matter? From the future.
If that is true, then I sense the intervention of someone powerful.
How did you come to be in this time, mortal? Who brought you here?
He cannot know.
I was hoping you could tell me, yeah.
I do not know. My kin departed long ago, and Proserpina has slumbered for 3,000 years.
Shouldn't you know as the god of Underworld? Or I guess that means you don't know everything that goes on here. I mean, that's the same thing.
Tread lightly, mortal. Enough of this. It seems I will need to put your reckoning on hold for now.
Phew.
But answer this. Why have you come here? What is it you seek?
I'd like you to put an end to the golden rule. I want to get it out of here. I'm here to kill you. Yeah, I want you to put an end to it, please. Save the city.
Your hubris is amusing.
Oh boy.
So I will allow you to make your case. But I warn you, if you anger me or waste my time with lies or wrong-headed arguments,
Okay.
you face death here. So, tell me, why should I put an end to the so-called golden rule?
If you're doing this for love, you should know that Proserpina doesn't love you. How can you expect us to live without sin if you can't do it yourself? The golden rule is corrupting this city and ensuring you'll never win the wager. Yikes. Which is going to convince him? So we don't want to anger him or do false arguments. I don't know, maybe Proserpina? Is that the way to go? You should know that she doesn't love you. But then we would have to reveal that we've somehow communicated with her, which she doesn't want. How can you expect us to live without sin if you can't do it yourself? I mean, that's true.
That is a very serious accusation, mortal. What sin have I committed? What evidence do you have to support it?
Didn't you abduct Proserpina and imprison her here? You've trapped people in the city against their will. You've given terrible punishments to hundreds of people, some for minor sins and some who committed no sins at all. I mean, that this top one is true. Abduct her and imprison her here. Ooh. Given terrible punishments. Which one is going to be most convincing? I feel like either 1 or 3. I guess the third... Terrible... Well, Proserpina, that's true, but he would say he's trying to save her.
I am well aware of the story told by the Greeks and Romans of my so-called abduction. It is entirely unfair. My love was dying, and I intervened the only way I could to save her life. What would you have done?
But didn't she choose to die?
It was an act of rebellion against the others. She knew I would have to act to save her, and I did because I loved her. I love her still. Accordingly, I reject your
Oh, come on. That's not fair. Okay. You've trapped people in the city against their will. What about the... I think this is the second best one.
Every one of those people was guilty of failing to ensure their peers lived virtuously. They failed collectively, and so they were punished collectively. The Romans understand this, as did the Greeks before them.
Where I'm from, collective punishment is considered one of the most egregious crimes there is, which is true.
How unfortunate that we are not where you are from.
But that shows that it's relative. If our positions were reversed, you wouldn't want me to punish you for the sins of others.
Ah, but I'm a god, and you are a mortal. Why would you expect me to treat you as I treat my own kind? You are not a peer. You are not a respected equal.
Oh, get over yourself.
Let me ask you this. Do you treat insects as you wish to be treated? Do you care for their well-being as you would your fellow man?
Yeah, but they're not sentient.
Do you ensure they have food and shelter and protection from predators? Do you give them rights?
No.
Of course not. Because that would be absurd. Just as it would be absurd for me to treat your kind as...
I feel like that's a straw man argument. Your and my kind can't be so different given that you're in love with one of us.
My love for her does not mean I am not superior, now that she is mortal.
Yikes. That sounds arrogant. Perhaps you're not as different from humans as you think.
Bah! For a moment I thought you might have been building to a point.
Great.
But I see now you are just a hubristic little creature.
Well, maybe we can try again.
That is a very serious accusation.
Okay, terrible punishments. You wouldn't want to... the sins of others.
Do you ensure...
I don't. What makes your kind superior to mine?
Where to begin? Our lifespans exceed yours by thousands of years, in which time we accumulate vast wisdom and a mastery of technology you cannot begin to imagine.
Why does wisdom and technology make you superior? Lifespan, so you're not immortal then.
Because that is the source of our power over you.
So you think you're not obligated to treat us fairly because you're more powerful?
You could say that.
What was it the Roman Stoic said? Treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you.
My kin have no superiors.
But didn't you say Jupiter was your leader? There's a hierarchy within your kin.
That is true. Go on.
Okay, so you are treating humans the way you would wish Jupiter to treat you.
Make your point, mortal.
I'm saying if you can't follow your own rule, how can you expect humans to?
Let me ponder that for a moment. If you are right, then it would follow that all this time I have been in the wrong. But no. The very thought of it grieves me.
I mean, you set the rules,
How
man.
can I accept your argument when doing so would make me a tyrant and a monster?
That's just logic. It's the truth. You've committed atrocities and you need to own up to it. You're not a monster, you're a human and you made a mistake. Yeah.
Wait, what? What are you saying?
All humans have a tendency towards sin. We all do it sooner or later, or humans make mistakes. It's in our nature. I mean, that's the same thing, right?
You have spoken eloquently, and yet, if what you say is true, it follows that my wager was fatally flawed from the beginning. But that would mean Jupiter, Proserpina's father, who knew more about you than anyone, proposed a wager I could never win.
That's a good point.
Why would he do that?
Ooh. Perhaps he made a mistake. Perhaps he wanted you to abandon the wager so Proserpina would be free. Perhaps he felt threatened by you and didn't want a potential challenger. That seems most convincing as well.
Perhaps. And if that was so, surely I would have sensed his deception. How could I have been so blind for so long?
Let's not insult him. Perhaps when you took on human form, you took on some human foibles, or perhaps you were blinded by your love for Proserpina. Yeah, that's true.
Your words sting me, mortal. But perhaps it is what I deserve. As difficult as this is to admit, I have suspected as much for a long time now. And I cannot deny it any longer. I've been so fixated on taking my beloved to Elysium that every time one of you sinned, it wore away my hope of being with her again. In time, I began to despise your kind for making her believe that you could ever be better than you are. But my rage was not born of malice, quite the opposite. Everything I have done, I did because I loved her. Who knew this empathy of yours, which you celebrate so much, could have such a dark underside? This has gone on too long. It is time for me to let go of this form, of her, of all of you.
That would be
But know this.
great.
If I abandon the wager and leave for Elysium, neither she nor your kind may ever ascend.
That's fine. Why can't we?
Because doing so would violate the rules of my sacred agreement with Jupiter, and you would receive a hostile reception.
Yeah, that's fair
The
enough.
best I can do is return you to the land of the living. I will have Charon make arrangements to ferry the others.
Perfectly fine.
But as for you, be aware you will be separated from the rest.
And why is that?
Once this exodus begins, the events that brought you to this moment will never have taken place.
Oh, that's true.
And you will have created a paradox. What will become of you is difficult to predict, but that is the risk you have taken by interfering in the natural flow of time. Now, are you ready?
Oh boy. I think so. I just want to say before whatever happens that I'm happy we went this route, because one of the themes of Greek and Roman mythology is that the gods essentially just act like humans most of the time. Like, there's countless legends of them like getting jealous of each other, cheating on each other, lying, all kinds of very human qualities. So for us to sort of demonstrate that for him, I think that was pretty spot on. So let's do this.
Farewell, mortal.
Ho ho. Whoa, where are we now? Alworth. Does that mean something? Like Karen?
Oh. Hi there. Gave me a bit of a fright. Thought I was in here alone. I'm Al.
Alworth? Alworth? Worthall. I'm trying to figure out what the code is. Alright, anyway, I came in here to find you.
Well, here I am. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
I am Odysseus. I was hoping you'd know who I
I
am.
know who you are. I barely remember how I got here myself. Oh, did that lady in the forest send you in here after me? I guess I lost track of time, learning about the history of this place, and it is extraordinary. I'm fairly certain you and I are the first people to set foot in this city for about 2,000 years.
Yeah, it's pretty
Fortunately
incredible.
For us, the last person in here was a Roman man named Galerius, who
Oh,
inscribed an account into a tablet.
yeah.
Apparently, there was a community of 20-something people trapped in here, and living in fear of a curse they called the Golden Rule. They believed that if even one person sinned, an unknown god would cast them all into gold, like the 1,000 people who'd lived here before them. Then, one day, just as Galerius had finished praying for a good harvest at the shrine of Proserpina, an oracle appeared and told him how to solve the ills of the city, like saving the life of a dying woman, preventing the suicide of a man in debt bondage, freeing a falsely accused prisoner, foiling an assassination attempt, and so on. Meanwhile, the oracle walked up to the temple of the mysterious god, this one right here, and demanded an audience. And the doors just opened up to him. Nobody knows what went on in there, but Galerius wrote the oracle must have been more persuasive than Odysseus.
Hey, that's our name.
Because the next thing he knew, the ground shook, and the voice of that god rang out over the city. The many have suffered long enough. Unfortunately, Galerius' account just sort of stops after that, leaving a lot of questions unanswered. What became of him, and the other people who lived here?
Yeah,
What happened to all the golden statues?
good question.
Did this mysterious oracle single-handedly undo the curse that had terrorized people for hundreds of years?
Well, definitely yes to that. Sure, why not? That was me.
What? Oh, I see. For a moment there, I thought you were serious. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think I found a way
Okay.
out through the aqueduct that brought water into the city. Follow me.
Okay, lead the way. But that doesn't explain how did we time travel. And did we... Oh, well, one thing I did realize is that the guy who hung himself, that was Al, right? Who we went in after, so he is now no longer dead, which is great. Glad to hear that. Anything interesting back here? Nope, just a normal gate. Man, it feels good to be back in the 2020s, or whenever this is. Oh, I remember walking over here so long ago. What's up, buddy?
I'm gonna pause here for a moment and make sure nobody else has ever lured into this temple.
Okay.
You go on ahead, and I'll be there soon.
Yeah, we wouldn't want them to get trapped inside, I guess. There's your backpack. Yep. I like it a lot. Anyway. Back to the river. You think we're going to see Karen there? I bet you we will. Man, it looks so different here now that we've come out the other side. I really hope everything turned out okay for Scintilla. I kind of feel bad for abandoning her, but I guess she probably just got returned to her, proper era and time, and let's hope so. And look who it is. Hi there, boatman, or boatwoman.
You're back. But you're alone. Does that mean you didn't find Al?
I found him. He'll be here in a second,
Oh,
so we've got time to talk.
what a relief. Thank you so much. I was beginning to think you'd both become trapped in there.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a
Why
shame?
don't you tell me what you discovered while we wait?
Okay. Well, I discovered you're not who you said you were. I remember meeting you 2,000 years ago.
Ah, I see.
Oh,
I thought you might. Well, now you know. I suppose you have questions.
yeah, sure do. Who are you? Well, I mean, we know who you are, really, but anyway.
You can just call me Charon, if you like. I am sorry I was not completely honest with you when we first met. I do not enjoy deceiving people. Believe me, I do not. But I have learned. from 5,000 years of experience. That most people find comfort in familiarity, in gradual change, and coming to see the truth in their own time.
Well, that's true, I guess.
That you died, of course. You were dead when I brought you here. My role, as the servant of the god of the underworld, has always been to assist the chosen to cross the threshold from the land of the living to the land of the dead.
And what happened to me?
Usually, when people do not remember how they died, it is because they suffered a terrible trauma.
Maybe a time travel accident?
Most souls would rather not remember. Ask yourself honestly, do you really want to know?
Yeah, I think I do.
As you wish. You were murdered. You were exploring an old tomb when you discovered a cache of forgotten relics, including 2 silver coins of ancient origin.
Oh, the last ones.
Unfortunately, as you emerged into daylight, you were set upon by 2 thieves. A nearby hiker saw the scuffle break out and leapt to your aid, trying to help you recover your bounty.
Oh, that's Al, probably.
You both fought bravely, but your assailants were armed, and you were not. There was nothing you or your ally could have done. He died instantly at the scene, and you followed a few hours later. That man's name was Al Worth.
Yeah, I figured.
You were each in possession of a sacred coin, called Charon's Opal by some. And so it was my duty to bring you here.
Pluto said that the coins Al and I had were the last in existence. What does that mean for you? Your job here is done?
It means I am now bereft of purpose. There is nobody else to ferry here. Nobody to keep you company. After 5,000 years, the underworld has finally run its course.
And are these coins scientific or something, or?
Perhaps you have heard the tales of the Greeks and Romans burying their dead with a coin in their mouths to pay the ferrymen for passage across the river. Well, those stories contained a seed of truth, but not any coin would do. A long time ago, my master created 1,000 silver coins and had me distribute them across the world.
Well, that we know.
My orders were simple. Whenever a person died in possession of a coin, I was to locate them and ferry them here.
Yeah, Pluto mentioned that my coin was the last in existence.
It means...
Yes, you're bereft of purpose. So, any chance of us being alive again, or...?
I see no point in keeping you here. But I have to ask one thing. That you keep this to yourself.
I mean, nobody would
Look,
believe me.
Here comes Al now. Al! It's so good to see you. You were gone so long I thought I'd never see you again.
Kinda lost track of time in there. You wouldn't believe what we found. The ruins of a long-forgotten city. And there was a tablet describing an oracle who confronted a god and undid an ancient curse.
Sounds like quite a story. And I look forward to hearing all about it.
Of course.
But you two look exhausted. Why don't you hop in my boat and rest while I ferry you back to civilization?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds great.
And you?
Ferry.
Are you ready to go home?
Let's do it. Karen, ferry us home. Oh, there's even an epilogue. 1 year later. Ho ho. Cool. Museums. There's one of the Roman statues. There's a fresco of like a lion eating some prey. There's like the Caesar Augustus statue. Look, this is the one that we saw originally in the place where we jumped in that had like the Neptune portrayal. Private member wing, currently exhibiting ancient Rome, ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, and Sumer. Oh yeah. That's appropriate.
Hey, you made it. It's great to see you again. I read your book, and what the critics said about it. I guess they weren't ready for your theories about the underworld.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It sounds like a crackpot
after
theory.
everything you've been through, I thought you might appreciate some good news. So after we got back to the real world, I started doing some research into the people mentioned in Galerius' tablet, and I found something strange. I'm sorry I've been so cryptic. I've been dying to tell you. I just really wanted you to see this for yourself. Why don't you head on down
Okay.
there? I'll catch up with you at the other end.
I'm excited. There's the exhibit legend. That's the Sumerians, the Egyptians, the Greeks, and the Romans. Cool. Wait, what? Galerius?
Finally here. Remember me?
Yeah. What the heck?
It's a crazy story. After you disappeared, Karen appeared and told us she was returning us to the world. Even gave us some coins to help us start our lives over. Only, for some reason, she returned us to your world instead of ours.
Ho.
Anyway, I know we only ever had that one conversation, and I wasn't even sure if you'd remember me,
Well,
but I wanted to say thanks for freeing us from the underworld and giving us a second chance at life.
that was my pleasure. What is up with you?
Oh, I used Karen's gift to buy a farm in Umbria. Got a villa on it too, with enough room for Dooley, of course.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
hard work, but I sleep soundly every night. I'm finally my own man, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
And like modern plumbing and toilets are like 1,000 times better, am I right?
I know. I can't believe my luck either. But we're engaged and living together. We're planning to get married next spring. If you're going to be around, we'd love to see you then.
I will make time for it. Nice to see you, my friend.
Of course. There's a whole museum full of people waiting for a chance to thank you.
Oh.
So you better keep moving. We'll speak again soon, my friend.
That's so cool. That's really amazing. Yeah, we'll go around and talk to everybody. I hope you don't mind this, guys, but I just want to sort of check out with everybody who has made our journey so significant. Hey, Dooley.
Hello, I'm Dooley.
Oh, I know.
Galerius said you're very nice and a big helper.
Mhm.
Thank you for getting us out of the bad place. I didn't like it.
That was my pleasure.
I live at Galerius and Equitia's house. They look after me now and help me remember when I forget things, like brushing my teeth.
Yeah, he's got top teeth now. Isn't that nice? I'm sorry we didn't get your treasure.
Treasure? Oh, I forgot about that. I like my box now. Galerius got me a box that tells stories. It's my favourite thing.
Yeah, smartphones are pretty great.
Yeah, they're fun.
Nice to see you, my friend.
Bye-bye.
And how about you, Equitia?
It's you.
Looking very nice.
You're here. It's lovely to finally meet you. Galerius told me all about you. So, you're the hero who somehow vanquished the last of the Roman gods. As I'm a priestess, you realize you've put me out of work. I'm just teasing. Actually, and it still feels a little sacrilegious to say this, I'm finding life after religion quite enjoyable. Galerius and I are engaged and expecting.
Oh.
We've just bought a lovely villa in the countryside with room for a large family, and Dooley too, of course. It feels like the world has just opened up for us. There's so much to learn, and so many more possibilities for our children than we ever imagined. We're just so thankful for what you did for us, for all of us.
That was my pleasure. And Livia?
Oh, it's sweet of you to ask. She recovered nicely. In fact, she's here somewhere, if you'd like to ask her yourself.
I would, yeah. Nice to see you.
See you at the wedding, I hope.
Very nice dress. I like it a lot. Alright, who's next? Oh, I almost didn't recognize you guys. You look so different.
there.
Oh my gosh. Yulia?
You're the Oracle, right?
I sure am. Odysseus is fine.
Oh, of course, sorry. And I never got a chance to thank you for telling Galerius how to save my life. And of course, getting me and all of us out of a terrible situation. Oh, I barely recognize myself. I'm living in a house share in London with my wonderful girlfriend. And I'm studying English at university. Eventually, I want to travel the world and write about it. Turns out, it's about 30 times bigger than the Roman Empire ever was.
Yeah, at least.
You know there are entire continents Rome never knew existed.
I didn't.
And you can travel
yeah.
almost anywhere in an aircraft, which is rather like flying on a Pegasus, but much more comfortable. Oh, sorry, you already know all that, of course. I'm just so excited. There's so much to see and learn and write about.
Seeing through the world through fresh eyes sounds wonderful. That is pretty amazing.
I have noticed people from your time have no idea how fortunate they are. I hope to change that. One day.
And what about kind of the villains?
Last I heard, Malleolus kept insisting he was the last rightful ruler of the Roman Empire, and wound up being committed to a psychiatric hospital.
Yeah.
As for Claudia, she was always so viciously unhappy. Someone said she'd blown all her money on wine, trying to drink herself back to the underworld. After the horrific way they treated Ulpius and me, I can't help feeling a sense of... what's that German word? Schadenfreude?
Yeah, that's perfectly fair. I think you're allowed to feel that way.
Thank you. You're very kind.
After the way they treated you. And Aurelia?
Ugh. Someone told me she was boasting about getting her claws into some rich prince, and how she was going to be living the high life from now on. Even in your time, life still isn't fair. Apparently, he'd proposed before they'd even met. And last I heard, she'd bought herself a first-class one-way ticket to join him in some exotic place called... what was it?
What, Nigeria?
Nigeria?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Some people have all the luck.
As the Oracle, I foresee terrible disappointment.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel better already.
Don't worry about it too
Thank
much. That's very funny.
You too. If you're ever in London, let me know. We can go to bars and drink wine and listen to the stories of the 9 million people who live there.
That sounds amazing.
I hope so.
And you, Lucretia, are you a doctor now?
You are here. It's nice to finally meet you. Lucy is fine. I'm making an effort to blend in, as you can see. We are all trying to keep a low profile. If the world knew we died 2,000 years ago and were suddenly brought back to life 12 months ago, they'd never leave us alone.
It's a good point.
Speaking of which, I wanted to say thank you in person. I'd say the gods smile on you, but I hear you drove the last of them off. So... I'm studying to get into medical school.
Oh, that's great. I knew it.
I resented the responsibility of keeping everyone in the city alive. When it ended, I realized I missed it. So I guess I'll just keep saving the world, if begrudgingly, one patient at a time.
Very nice.
You too. Don't be a stranger.
That's a good way for her to close up her arc. Now, who is this? Oh, is this, Horatius?
Hey.
Evening.
It sure is. Oh, nice.
Good to see you again.
Uniform looks good on you.
I understand we have you to thank for giving us a second chance at life. And reuniting Scintilla with us as well. So, thank you.
Of course.
I'm living up north and studying in the military academy in Modena. I'm going to be an officer one day.
Very nice.
The world's changed a lot. But some things stay the same. Would you believe we're still studying military tactics from my time? Alexander the Great, Caesar, Hannibal Barca. Still, I have to keep challenging myself to let go of old ways of thinking and embrace the new. As Seneca wrote, the ones who pioneered our paths aren't our masters, but our guides.
I'm sorry you never got to see your girl. Yeah.
Ah, you remembered that. Thank you. I grieved for a time, but that's done. In the words of Epictetus, as those who rode behind triumphant generals remind them they are mortal, remind yourself your precious one isn't one of your possessions. but something given for now. Not forever.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you're coping.
Thanks.
And Domitius, I'm sure... What, is he in a gang now?
He's not my... Oh, I see what you did there. Good one. He had more trouble adapting than most. He got himself disqualified from the UFC.
Oh,
So he started some kind of underground blood sport tournament, like we had in Rome. Suppose it appealed to people's baser instincts. And they say he made some good coin, killing a bunch of men like that.
That sounds
But
about
his
right.
luck finally ran out. And his life along with it.
Oh, well, there you have it.
You know what they say. Live by the sword, die by the sword.
That's right. Sounds like, that is kind of a shame.
Perhaps.
Nice to see you, my friend.
And you. Farewell.
Yeah, look at him. He's ripped. And he's looking at his old shield. Oh, that's so cool. And who is this? Cynthia.
I take it you're the Oracle. Thanks for coming. Actually, I changed my name to Cynthia. I didn't want to be associated with Sentius after what happened.
Oh, that's
I'm not
fair.
sure if you heard, but after you drove Pluto off, Proserpina emerged from the Great Temple. She knew right away what none of us had figured out about that psychopath. He'd been keeping my little sister locked up in the upper cistern all that time.
Yeah, I know.
But he's been dealt with. He's... you know what? The important thing is, we'll never see him again.
And what are you up to?
Anything I want. I'm a woman of means in a vast new world. I can go wherever and do whatever I please. Of course, I mostly just stay in my villa and have my servant Alexa summon things for me.
Good one.
Because it's just awful out there. Barbarians everywhere.
Alexa is a good one.
He's still there, all alone. The last golden statue in the underworld.
Yikes.
Trapped in a metal shell, slowly losing his mind until the end of time. Eternal torment. Just what he deserves, if you ask me.
It does seem a little, I mean, yeah. A little excessive,
I try
but
not to think about
whatever.
him at all.
Okay.
You too. See you around.
Yeah, people are getting their just desserts, it seems. Alright, who's next? We've got, oh, Georges. Wow, look at his suit. Very nice.
Museum, is it
Very
not?
fancy.
Greetings. You must be the legendary Oracle. It is a sincere privilege to finally make your acquaintance. I am Georgius. I am told we have you to thank for freeing us from Hades, and for that, I am most grateful.
It is my pleasure.
I am reacquainting myself with Greece. It has changed so much over the last 2,000 years, I barely recognize it. This is at once heartbreaking and thrilling.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Perhaps one day, once I have seen all of this new Greece and sampled her delights, I will settle down in Santorini in a villa overlooking the Azure Aegean Sea.
That sounds
I
beautiful.
hope you will join me there and regale me with the story of how you faced off against the fearsome god of the underworld and won.
Absolutely.
You too, my friend.
Good guy. Oh, Fabia. Wow, look at her dress.
You're the one we've been waiting for. I'm Fabia. I wanted to say thanks for sending Galerius to save my life. I don't know how you knew, but I would have been crushed by that shrine for sure.
I had a little help.
I'm just so happy to be here with you and everyone together again, even if it's just for one more night. Well, it's not like I have to work with all the silver Charon gave me, so I just do what makes me happy. Mostly that means baking for my friends and looking at memes while binging TV shows in yoga pants. What a time to be alive.
Living your best life.
Thank you. I really am. You too.
She seems to be the most modernized of everyone. Oh, the hermit. Look at his little bow tie. Man, he's got the slickest outfit here in the whole place.
I take it you're the Oracle everybody's talking about. It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
We've met before, though I wouldn't expect you to remember it.
We have. I'm sorry, I don't remember. In any case, I'm Philip.
Oh, we can hear his name
I
now.
never thought I'd leave that cave, let alone the city. And now I'm living in the 21st century. What a time to be alive. And it seems I have your catabasis to thank for it.
My what? My catabasis?
I'm working as a consultant to the Faculty of Classics at Cambridge University, helping fill the odd gap in their knowledge. Not that I need the money, but I do love being around enlightened minds again. My sincere thanks once again.
Seems like a good use of your talents. Alright, who else do we have over here? Octavia.
Good evening.
Hello there. Oh, hello. It's lovely to meet you. I've heard so much about you. I'm thankful that you're here. I was sure the person who drove off the last pagan god would have more important things to do than visit the likes of us.
Well,
but thank
I wanted
you
to check in on you.
for coming and for saving our lives. What you did was extraordinary, and I'll never forget it. I'm living in Rome again, in a charming little flat by the Tiber, not far from my old place. Oh,
That's funny.
and I'm training to be a crisis counselor.
Oh, that's
After you
great.
sent Galerius to persuade Ulpius not to take his own life, I was inspired. I just want to spend the rest of my life helping people, like you helped him.
That's amazing. That is a very noble cause.
Thank you. That means a lot. And you. Oh, and I hope this isn't too forward, but some of us are going out for a drink after this, if you'd like to join us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. I'll see you soon.
As long as it's not like old, watered-down Roman wine, that'd be fine with me.
Greetings. Thank you for your
You still
kind
into
words
poetry?
and for liberating us all. In all the time I was in the underworld, I never once imagined that I might end up in a place so much like Elysium. I'm recovering. Octavia was kind enough to let me stay with her for a while, at least until I'm well enough to be independent again. Ah, you remember that. I'm a little tired of Ovid, but that's all right. I have 2,000 years worth of poetry to catch up on
Yeah,
now.
that's quite a back catalog.
I'm already up to the 19th century, and am quite enjoying the work of a fellow named Poe. I think I may have found a kindred spirit.
Quoth the raven,
Men
nevermore.
have called me mad, but the question is not yet settled whether madness is or is not the loftiest intelligence.
Well said.
And you, farewell, friend.
Who is this
Some soiree,
handsome rogue?
innit?
Oh. He's just like, who needs stanchions? I sit where I want.
Oh, hello at last. You must be the oracle I've heard so much about. I'm Dacius.
I remember you.
I wanted to express my sincere appreciation for what you did. If it wasn't for you, I'd never been able to sell all those useless old relics I accumulated. Whatever you did in that temple made me a very wealthy man. Thank you.
Well, it was entirely unattended.
Such a acerbic wit. I love it. I took the money I made from selling my trinkets and started investing in the stock market. That's where the real money is now.
That's what they say.
I was hoping to ask your advice, you being the oracle and future seer and all that, on which stocks I should invest in next. I can't decide between fossil fuels, tobacco, gambling and arms. What would you recommend?
I can't really see this future.
Oh, don't be like that. You can tell your old pal Dacius. I won't take no for an answer.
DVD have rentals of a bright future. Lie. Broadcast television is going to be the next big thing. Lie. Print media is going to make a huge comeback. How about TV?
Oh, of course, yeah. I was just thinking the same thing. Go home and buy up as much stock as I can tonight. I'm going to make a bloody fortune.
Yeah, easy come, easy go. That's what they say.
Of course, don't let me keep you. Thanks again for the tips, my friend.
No problem. I am not a financial advisor. Okay. Getting towards the end here. Here's the Anubis statue. An ancient statue of Anubis, the ancient Egyptian god of mummification and embalming, among other things. Is this, yeah, Kabash looking at his... What is up? Statue of Kerti. A statue of Kerti, the Egyptian ram-headed deity believed by the Egyptians to ferry the deceased to the underworld. He is associated with death and Osiris, the god of the underworld. This must be the man in the ram headdress. Yeah?
It is an honor to finally meet you, Oracle. You know my name.
We've met before.
Oh, of course. You are an Oracle. You know many things. I too would like to offer my thanks for releasing us from that place, and for your role in bringing us here. This world is truly wondrous. For a time, I returned to Alexandria, but they have no need of another fisherman, and I came to see there is nothing for me there. Instead, I have decided to follow the custom of your youths and backpack the world.
Backpack.
It is a great adventure, and I have met many people from many cultures.
It's a great way to see the world.
I spent the first 25 years of my life avoiding the 42 sins that would deny me access to the afterlife. Now, I think it is time I had some fun.
Yeah, go crazy.
Indeed. Thank you, Oracle.
All right. And then Virgil and Rufius here together.
Hello. It's so nice to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you. I wanted to thank you personally for getting us out of there. And for helping Rufus come to terms with himself. He may come off a little gruff, but once you get past that, he's a lovely fellow.
That's good.
I'm studying to be an architect again, and living with Rufus in our beautiful flat
Oh.
in Rotterdam, just down the river from Nijmegen, where I grew up.
Nijmegen.
Of course, it's improved immensely since I was there last. Gleaming futuristic buildings and clean streets, full of educated, accepting people. You natives of the 21st century have no idea how fortunate you are.
I mean, I have a little bit of an idea, having lived in the
If you're
first
ever
century.
in the Netherlands, we'd love to show you around. It's the least we could do.
Of course. So they ended up together, huh? Even though he was the one that was saying all those mean things.
Nice to meet you.
And your name was...
I go by Rufus now.
Aha.
New start, new name. Oh, and thanks, by the way, for what you did. Sorry, I'm no good with the mushy stuff.
Hey, say no more.
I live with Virgil in Rotterdam, not far from where he grew up. It's very modern. Destroyed in the war, and it rebuilt itself. Good place for a fresh start. Haven't decided what I'm going to do with my life yet. One adjustment at a time.
Statues really were watching us, that's true.
Good to know. Anyway, it was good practice for the new world. Security cameras and smartphones everywhere.
That's true.
Got to stay vigilant.
That's right, keep your head on a swivel.
You too. Look us up next time you're in the Netherlands. We're grateful.
Statue of Nergal, Sumerian statue of Nergal, the Mesopotamian god of the dead and underworld. Yep. And the last two...
We meet again.
Oh, Scintilla.
Oh, I go by Gabriella now. I didn't want to be reminded of that monster every time I heard my own name.
That's very fair.
And I wanted to say thanks, and no hard feelings, for leaving me in that cistern when you did.
Oh, good.
I know it must have been a difficult decision, but it was the right one.
That definitely takes a load off my mind. Yeah, I appreciate you saying that.
I'm living with Ulpius on a little vineyard in Umbria. It's even more wonderful than I dreamed it would be. I'm so grateful to you for making sure he's still with us. If you're ever passing through the region, I hope you'll come and visit us.
Absolutely.
You can try some of our very own wine.
Sold.
Thanks. You too.
And last but not least,
Hi.
Ulpius himself.
It's nice to finally put a face to the name. I'm Ulpius. I understand I have you to thank for sending Galerius to save my life. The way you just showed up out of the blue and stopped me from making a terrible mistake. I'll be forever in your debt. I'm living with Gabriella in Umbria. We finally bought the little vineyard we always dreamed of. It'll be a little while before we know what we're doing, but every day I look at her and this extraordinary new world with all its beauty, and I think, what if I'd given up hope and missed out on all of this? So we're living each day to the fullest. And we end them all the same way, sitting together on our terrace with a glass of our wine, which the locals say is almost drinkable now, and watching the sunset over the rolling hillside. And I couldn't be happier.
That sounds like a great way to spend your life.
Thank you. I wouldn't be here without you. You too.
And this is Kumut Tabal, the bird-headed deity who is said to help the dead cross the Kuba River to the underworld. And that's everybody. That's the whole gang. So now what? More statues. Let's just take a quick look here. Oh, there's the Greek plaque. Yeah. Some statues. Here's the Egyptian, or no, sorry, not the Egyptian, the Sumerian ones here. Sumerian plaque. The sins of the one shall become the suffering of the many. That's what I've heard. The Sumerian plaque. Here's like the Arch of Titus. You can see the moon up there. Confirmed we are on Earth, which is good. This is a nice museum. Really nice museum. Got an emergency exit. Oh, we're going to talk to him.
There you are. I hope you enjoyed that.
I sure did.
Now, there's one more person I wanted to introduce you to. I think you know her.
Is it going to be Proserpina?
Sorry if I frightened you. Just a little joke I've been saving for a long
I know your voice.
Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Proserpina, former goddess of the cycle of life and renewal, and now a regular mortal. I wanted to meet you in person, and thank you for freeing all these people, and me. I hate to think what would have happened to us without your intervention.
You were whispering to me the whole time.
Indeed. Suffice it to say that while Pluto was controlling the eyes and ears of each golden statue, I was able to control their tongues, and whisper to you when he was distracted. I am sorry my messages were so cryptic. There were only ever brief windows in which I could speak to you without being detected.
Well, it was enough. And yeah, the time loop, that's the main thing I want to know.
I did. I may have given up my immortality, but I still retain my gifts as the goddess of a cycle of life and renewal. After witnessing Pluto punish countless poor souls over thousands of years, I knew this generation, the final wave, would not survive. So I tried to give them a way to buy more time. A second chance. Rather, as many second chances as they needed to avoid his wrath.
And what about the aliens, basically?
I don't know what happened to him. I haven't heard from him, and I rather hope it stays that way.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, she inherited dominion over the underworld. Last time we spoke, she was working on a new world of some kind.
Oh, really?
She wouldn't say what it was, but I'd be surprised if you don't run into her again. I imagine we all will, one day.
That's, what a teaser that is.
And you, although it feels like I've known you forever. Oh, and one last thing. Do you remember all those golden statues scattered throughout the city?
Yeah.
Good, because they remember you. Well done, my friend.
Oh.
Of all the heroes who ever journeyed to the underworld and returned,
Wow.
none came close to achieving what you did. Hercules, Orpheus, Theseus, and Aeneas would be proud.
Whoa, that's so cool. I just got a Steam achievement unlocked. The canon ending. Ending 4-4. Oh, that's awesome. So we did it. And that is that. Well, sorry for kind of the longer ending, but I think it was worth it just to sort of close out everyone's story and, you know, get the full explanation. And it's crazy, like, these three guys pretty much were the main ones who put everything together. I mean, of course, there was all these other collaborators and consultants and stuff, but hats off to those three guys for taking, again, like I mentioned in the first episode, what was originally a Skyrim mod, and converting it to something really both beautiful and memorable. I honestly had no idea the type of experience that this would be. I thought that it would be like the loops would be a lot quicker, that it would just sort of be in and out and it would be like a quick iteration, but this was definitely more of a slow burn, like trying to understand everybody's backgrounds and stories, and getting to know really the culture and the relationships and all that kind of stuff, I think was really, really well done. So the only kind of criticism I have for some of it is, you know, some of the transitions between stories, or like, for example, when we had a bunch of the side tasks that we gave Galerius to do, it kind of took a while for all of those to be executed before we could move on. It would have been nice if we could have had like a time jump or something to pass all that, but I think that kind of would have broken the immersion. And also because it was, you know, based on Skyrim, some of the platforming was a little wonky. I didn't love it all the time, but I mean, again, those are super minor criticisms compared with the important stuff, which is, well, the story, the music, the aesthetics were all kind of combined to be really pretty incredible. And I'm very glad that I found this. It was just a random scroll on Steam that happened to catch my eye, and I love stuff about antiquities, and especially about the Roman era. And so this was kind of a perfect game for me to read. So I hope you have enjoyed watching this. Thank you so much, and I would really love to hear your thoughts as well. You know, if you could leave me a comment and just sort of tell me not only what you thought about the game, but any kind of future games that you'd be interested in watching. I'm always looking for more recommendations. I'd rather play something that you guys want to see than just than take a gamble. But if not, I will find something hopefully that's equally as good, if not better, than this. And I'm just going to go ahead and fade out here, I think. If there's any kind of post-credit stinger, I'll include it. I don't think that there is going to be. But again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you for the next episode, whenever that may be. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the future. Bye for now.